I cannot believe that I'm already making an update video on how the tips from the very first video that I created on this channel helped us succeed in making yet another cuddly cat. 4 months ago, I had officially foster failed Rico. I knew that a lot of the things that I did while raising Mochi heavily contributed to the sweetheart that she is today. And I was like, this is no coincidence. So came up with a list of similarities that I saw. I knew in the back of my mind that one day I would have to make an update about this. And I can't believe today is that day. Like, what better way to show the long-term effects of the tips that I talked about than to look at Rico's progress? And I figured the best way to go about that is to go back over each of the tips that I listed and show you the evidence of how it's affected our relationship today. Do we think that the tips worked? We can decide together. I mean, I personally think that I have succeeded in my goal of making not one, but 2 cuddly cats. And I want to see if you guys agree, or if you think maybe he's a typical kind cat, but he hasn't really reached that cuddly threshold, that ragdoll threshold. In a few more months, we can get there. And if you haven't watched the previous video, I definitely recommend watching it because it helps give a little bit more context to today's video, but also helps anyone that's looking for how to apply these tips. So the first tip that I mentioned was learning how to listen to and read your animal's body language. I definitely think that this has significantly helped how cuddly Rico has been. During this period, there are highs and lows, and my boyfriend would even sometimes say things like, as he grows, he becomes more independent, and we definitely started to notice that in his body language. As he was growing, he changed in the way that he preferred to cuddle. When he was a baby, like a little pom-pom Rico, he used to want to like sleep under the blanket with my boyfriend and I. Actually, he wanted to be a sandwich in between us on his back, like a little hot dog heaven, baby cat. But as he got older, he kind of preferred to sleep on our legs or just like by our feet. I think maybe he started getting hot or just kind of like being able to stretch and have his own space because my boyfriend and I do take up our whole bed. And so with that transition, at first, my boyfriend and I would kind of take it to heart and we would invite him to come join us because it's bedtime. And we started to notice his body language change when we did some of the behaviors that made him super excited. And it's subtle, you know, you really have to know your animal and catch it. Moments when I think that he would be giving me little head nudges, or like his eyes would be closed, or I'm hearing purring. He's kind of just more like staring. So those are little ways that we started to read his body language that kind of helped during our cuddling. The second tip that I think I mentioned, or maybe this was like, I think while I was watching my video, I forgot to say step number 2 for one of them and just kind of skipped it. So maybe I'll just call this tip 1A. Avoid unintentionally teaching them unwanted behaviors. That was like a triple negative statement, but this definitely contributed to, now looking back, I feel like it was kind of like the first example that I provided where when I was watching his body language, like while he was making that transition, I reinforced this idea in his mind that an experience that isn't based on your survival, you don't have a choice on, if that makes sense. I didn't want him to make that connection in his mind that like, I can't have leisure because I enjoy it. Oh, I have to be forced here and forced to do this thing, forced to enjoy. That just sounds terrible. And I feel like reinforcing that idea can create some unwanted behaviors. It changes like the way that he makes connections to certain things. And I feel like for some that may be difficult to kind of understand or gauge, and I don't blame you because this is an idea that I had to understand based on deconstructing my own ideas of how humans should be raised. I don't need to talk too much about how deep this topic can actually probably get, but yeah, still definitely a pretty useful tip. And then tip number 2, which was showing interest in your cat's interests. I will say that this 100% contributed to Rico's more cuddly traits. Consistently, daily, he was getting his enrichment needs the exact way he wanted it. And that's a lifestyle indicative of a very happy cat. Like, there's nothing more that I hate in this world than something or somebody thinking that they're doing something kind for me or buying me something or doing a kind gesture, and I'm feeling forced to be grateful. But I know that it has nothing to do with what I'm interested in. Like, it's just telling me clearly this person does not pay attention to me. They don't know me. They don't know my likes. And I feel like sometimes people can unintentionally do that to their pets. And it's in simple ways because they live a simple life, okay? In simple ways like the types of toys that you buy them. Like, if you buy your cats toys and then you're just reinforcing this idea in your mind that like, oh, my cat just doesn't like to play, but then like you see sometimes they do have fun playing, I urge you to take a closer look. For example, have you ever considered the type of hunting style that your cat prefers? Do they like things that fly? Do they like things that hop? Do they like things that scurry, little rodents? Okay. Do they like puzzles? Do they like things that are difficult? Do they just like flipping and backflipping? You know what I mean? Rico, he does not care how tired he gets. He will keep running. He loves the thrill of a hunt and then walking off like he's a king. That's his thing. I wouldn't know that if I wasn't showing interest in his interest. And when he feels fulfilled and enriched, he's usually tired. And what do you do when you're cuddling? Lay down. So every time he was tired and ready to lay down, you know who was there? Mom. Mom was there. What? To get some cuddles. Yes, I was. Yes, I was. Yes, I am. And so in his brain, he starts looking for me to get cuddles. Because he has his little session, he has his little fun time, he has a little playtime by himself, and then he's like, all right, now when it's time to relax, where's mom? Where's dad? You see? You see how it happens? I'm trying to tell you, I'm trying to put y'all on game. Tip number 3 is, using the same vocabulary consistently. And how does this relate to cuddling, you might ask? How else would they know it's time? Based on the words that I communicate with my cats when I read their body language, allows me to turn the cuddling sessions into a door. It is not something that is automatic or expected. It is literally a door that is being opened. And that happens through my communication with my cats first. By me saying, hi, what do you want? Are you okay? If I say those things and I hear Mochi go, clearly she doesn't want to be touched. Or, oh, she's got a lot on her mind, actually. Does she even want to cuddle? Clearly, she wants something else. And so I can open a door for another conversation about something else, or I can actually find out based on how she's responding, like genuinely, I feel like I sound kind of insane with some of the things I say, but call me a mad scientist, I don't care. But I'm just telling you, when I communicate with my cats, it made it a lot easier to tell them when I wanted them to come cuddle with me. When I tell my cats to come here, and then I give them a few pets, and then they just plop down. Consistent vocabulary got me there. You're welcome. Ooh, positive reinforcement and redirection. 100%. This definitely contributed to Rico's cuddliness because he is so food motivated. Sometimes it hurts my heart. Moment of silence for all the Chipotle bags ripped through. But giving them something that they are allowed to go to or can do whatever they want to do to is so much better than providing them a life of having things they want to do in life but having no options but not to experience them because of us, because of their parents. Their entire world is based on their lifestyle in the apartment. The least you can do is look at something that you don't want them to do and move them into a positive direction. Happy cats just equals a happy life. And these tips will help you create a lifestyle that is indicative or more likely to create a happy cat that's a more likely to cuddle cat. And some cats just don't like being cuddled. Like, some people just don't like hugs. I don't know, like sometimes things are just different. However, I'm just talking about if you're starting from ground zero or like you want to try something out, I think these are good things to try out. Okay, and then I remember the last 3 from the video, they're just very, very, very niche. Very niche to me. They are 100% based off of my experiences with my cats. This is not something that I've seen across the board. So I take these tips with a grain of salt. However, in regard to Rico's progress, I was right. I'm telling y'all. I am telling you. Kitty kisses, massages, and then helping them get more familiar with people. They are necessities in a cuddly cat, okay? And not just a cuddly cat, but a cat with traits that make them open to being the type of cat that doesn't make people hate cats growing up. I'm gonna make a whole video about that topic because that pisses me off. I've met more cat haters than cat likers and lovers, period. Total, in my whole life. That's crazy to me. I hate it. But I'm gonna show you. The evidence is just gonna show you. Kitty kisses are a yes. If you can do it and your cat lets you, praise bachata. Don't do that when you're feeding your cat raw food. Or be careful, but don't say I didn't warn you, because raw foods, come on now, y'all. The massages, if your cat will let you do it, the massage is the whole point of wanting a cuddly cat, because you can put your hand on their belly. And then not only that, it helps it for when you want to nail trim your cat. So it's like a double, I don't even know what to call it, whammy? Catching two birds with one net. We're not going to knock two birds with any stones. And actually, in regard to what I said about getting your cat familiar with people, I will reiterate this as many times as I need to, because I need to hear it myself. And this is where I started to fail with Rico. I know. We couldn't have a perfect score across the board. We had to have some things that are still in progress, and this is the number one. Anytime Rico hears a sound, a noise, a voice, a presence that is not his mom or his dad or his sister, you can't find him. He's inside of our couch. Don't even ask me how he got there. I am making an intentional effort to have some well-rounded kitties, and I don't want to unintentionally reinforce unwanted behaviors. And I gotta figure out how to get around this. And it's because it started to become the winter time and we stopped having company over as much. And so he just grew up in our little bubble. Shaking my head. So I gotta start inviting people over again. He slowly but surely is getting used to people. We are starting to have company come over because it is getting closer to the holidays. But yeah, man, no, this is a tip that I gave to people and then dropped off on it, and I'm feeling the effects of not doing it. However, despite him being scared, he is never mean. He's never like stressing so much to the point that like he's hyperventilating or panting or like running away. Once we get him out and we show him that people are safe, then he's like happy to go to them and get pets for them. So I definitely think that all of the other tips are helping with this last tip. So maybe I'll make another progress video in the future about how Rico's doing with company. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's all of the tips that I went over. And if it's not, this video is long enough as it is. Thank you so much for watching this video. And if you're interested in more tips on how to care for your cat, go ahead and click the next video. But until then, see you guys next time.